to order. And if you could, please, we'll take a few minutes of a moment of reflection, please, before we start. Thank you. I will ask if there is any pecuniary interest and or the general nature thereof. Councillor Shea.
Yes, there is an item on the agenda related to the community gardens. I'm a user of the community gardens, so I will turn off my microphone and camera for that portion of the meeting and fill out the appropriate form and submit that to the clerk.
Very good. So noted. And if there is any other time that it does arise, certainly can be declared at that time as well too from any one of the members. Thank you. This evening, we do have a delegation this evening. And I see that Hazel Pratt is with us. And welcome this evening, Hazel. And I think your request is around the Chesley Hospital, which certainly is an influence from a number of individuals in West Grey, especially up here in the regions of the north part of the regions of Bentinck Township for certain. So with no further ado, Hazel, I'm going to turn it over to you. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you very much to West Grey Council and staff for slotting me into this council meeting. Mayor Eccles is correct that the service at the Chesley site of the South Bruce Grey Health Centre is a service area for many of the residents of West Grey. So last October, so 2022, there was a capacity crowd at the Chesley Community Centre to hear about plans to reopen the emergency department services at the Chesley Hospital. The Emerge had been closed for 2 months and it will reopen December to weekday business hours, so 7 to 5 p.m. There's been a lot of news in the media following that meeting and much concern from the community, especially the Amish and Mennonite in the surrounding service area, which is Oliver and Elderslie, and parts of the former townships of Brant, Bentinck, and Sullivan. So we've, from that, a bunch of us got together and formed a committee and started looking into sort of the background. And so much of this Save Our Hospital and ER campaign is based on the work that Brockton Council had commissioned a report on the critical nursing shortage at the multiple sites of the South Bruce Grey Health Centre. And with the formation of the Friends of Walkerton and Chesley Hospitals, Walkerton has sustained their emergency room services. So the Chesley physician recruitment team have advised that without a fully functioning ER, it is very difficult to recruit and retain doctors and nurses, which could threaten the continued existence of our local hospital. Erin Elderslie Council wrote a letter to the Premier and the Ministry of Health last year following that meeting, requesting action to address the situation, and the letter remains unanswered. So we have a campaign wholly run by volunteers, and we're getting the information out with brochures. We have posters in local businesses, and we've been doing presentations to municipalities, service clubs, and in the local media. We're collecting signatures on a petition, which will be headed to the legislature after our rally, which is on April the 1st, Chesley Community Centre, from 2 to 4. So this rally will be a community show of support and is being promoted as a family-friendly event, and we'll have food available and a wall of support for our hospital and healthcare heroes. So we've been seeking and gathering letters of support and donations in kind and offers from help from local businesses, the Chamber of Commerce, service clubs, and the municipal councils and the community at large. Certainly losing a hospital or any public service in a community really affects not only those that use the service, but also and attracting business and residents. It really greatly affects the economic development of that area. And West Grey certainly is, has coverage of 2 hospitals, 2 of the 4 of the South Bruce Grey Health Center, the same as Brockton does too. So we wanted to get the word out, and I think that's about it for my presentation. Would there be any questions for me to answer? And thank you also for letting me speak.
Thank you very much for bringing the event up to us and bringing us an update on where you are at in the community at large in the Chesley area on the hospital, their healthcare situation over there. With that, yeah, I'll ask, is there any one of the council members have a question or remarks for Hazel? Councillor Shea, Jeff?
Thanks, Mayor Eccles, and thanks for the presentation, Ms. Pratt. You just mentioned that West Grey is home to 2 of the hospitals and Brockton to 2. I was unclear.
Yes. So the South Bruce Grey Health Center, it's such a mouthful. There's 4 sites, so Kincardine, Walkerton, Chesley, and Durham. And so 2 of those hospitals serve, so Chesley and Durham would serve the residents that live in West Grey. And Brockton is affected by the Walkerton and Chesley Hospital for their residents.
I see. I see that. Thanks for the clarification.
No problem.
Anyone else? Councillor Townsend. Doug?
Thanks, Mayor Eccles. Just putting this out to the other councillors and to staff. I think it would be very good of us, pertinent of us, to provide a letter of support to Hazel's committee, backing their wishes to get that ER up and running and staffed 24/7 as it should be, because we all know if it can happen in Chesley, it can happen in Durham, it can happen in Walkerton and wherever. And I think it is pertinent of us as council to support and look after our residents of West Grey, and definitely, as we say, those ones in the north end of, especially the northwest corner of West Grey, use that Chesley facility. So I think we should do anything we can to support and back this cause. Thank you.
Were you making that a motion? That
I will make that a motion, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Can you wordsmith that, Jamie, accordingly?
Absolutely.
If I can find a seconder for that. I'm going to take Councillor Noon. Joyce? Okay. Have you got something put together there, Jamie?
Yes, I do, Mayor Eccles, and through you, I have that in consideration of a delegation from Hazel Pratt respecting the Chesley Hospital Support Rally. Council directs staff to send a letter of support to the Chesley Hospital Community Support Committee.
Very good. That encapsulates what you were looking for there, Councillor Townsend. Good.
Yes, it does. Thanks.
All right. Any questions on the motion? Call. Okay. Jeff? Councillor Shea.
Thank you, Kevin. In the literature that was provided to us, we were asked to send letters to the MPP. So do you think we could have this motion amended to include and copy the MPP?
Through you, Mayor Eccles, yes, that could be added to the motion.
Yeah, I would think that was, I believe the intent, certainly Councillor Shea, that not only to the Premier and the Minister of Health, but other parties of interest. We will make sure that the list is extensive.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I will call the question. All those in favor? Raise your hand, please. That is carried unanimously. I would say, Hazel. Thank you very much. And any parting remarks before we move on?
I'd just like to say thank you to council for the motion and to write a letter of support. And Councillor Townsend is certainly correct in saying that if it can happen in Chesley, it could happen to any one of the amalgamated smaller hospitals in our area. So it is important to all of us, and I'd like to thank you for your support.
And again, thank you very much for the presentation, and we shall see if we can get through the morning of April 1st. That is the joking part of it, but the afternoon, certainly this rally and whatnot, is far from being a joke from the community, and as you said, from all the rest. So thank you, and we will probably see you on April the 1st.
Thank you, Mayor Eccles.
Very good. Okay. Jamie, I think that's it for delegations. Public meetings, we have none. Comment period. At this time, I would ask our communications operation person of many other titles as well too. Cody, do we have anybody online that is wanting to communicate this evening? Or could you give them the operational way that they can join us?
Thank you, and through you, members of the public wishing to participate in this portion of the meeting must do through Zoom. It cannot be done through YouTube at this time. If you would like, you can either raise your hand, which is typically located in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, typically under the More Options section, or you can send a chat message to myself, Cody Hewlett, and I will read that into the record on your behalf. I am not seeing any members of the public wishing to actively participate. However, I did receive one piece of correspondence earlier today.
Certainly, then go ahead, Cody.
Through you, this was sent from Jennifer L. Hodge Williamson. And it reads, "Dear Clerk, Mr. Mayor, and members of council, please accept this. Please accept the following piece of correspondence in regards to the community garden update during tonight's meeting as forwarded to Cody Hewlett, Sarah Hansen, Ann Hagedorn, and Lydia Dick. Dear Cody, happy spring. So nice to see the sunshine. I noticed that there is to be an update regarding the community gardens / dog park proposal at tonight's council meeting. Just wondering if there is going to be an opportunity for us to meet as a group with the other gardeners to discuss the season moving forward, including repairs required to the existing boxes, promotion of available beds, should there be any empty beds available, planning of the garden expansion and/or site that can ultimately be used in this case. We would appreciate inclusion as updates moving forward and are excited about the growing season ahead. Respectfully submitted, Jennifer L. Hodge Williamson."
Okay. Thank you for the comment, Jennifer. And I do see, I think in the participants that Jennifer was with us. There will be some discussion on it later in the meeting. A bit of an update of where we're at there. Is that given any time for anybody else to join in, Mr. Hewitt?
Through you, I'm not seeing any other members of the public wishing to comment.
All right. Then I'll suggest that we move on to number 7, unfinished business. Mr. Clerk, or sorry, Director of Legislative Affairs / clerk. Jamie, is there anything there in unfinished business? I'm not
Thank you,
aware of
Mayor.
any.
No, there is not.
No, very good. Down to number 8 on the agenda, dealing with minutes. We have a set of minutes from February the 21st, public meeting. Do I have a mover and a seconder for those minutes, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Noon. Thank you, Tom. Joyce, any errors or omissions, questions on those minutes? Call the question. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. Regular council meeting held on February 21st. Those minutes are there. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Forrester, seconded by Councillor Hutchison. Thank you. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Any opposed? That is carried. Question, Jeff? Councillor Shea? No? Okay. Minutes.
Sorry, I don't know how that hand got up.
Well, we'll let you work away. There, you've got it down. We're good now. Minutes of the public meeting on March the 7th. Do I have a mover and seconder for those? Moved by Councillor Townsend, seconded by Councillor Shea. Any questions or comments on those minutes? Councillor Shea. Jeff?
Yes, thank you, Kevin. At item 11.2.3, you and I had both declared a conflict of interest and stepped out of the meeting. At the conclusion of that item in the minutes, it indicates that you returned to the council chambers, but doesn't indicate that I returned. So I just wanted it noted that I was present for the rest of the meeting.
Okay. You say that I missed that. We good with that, Mr. Clerk?
Through you, yes, we will have that corrected in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. With that noted, minutes as amended. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. And the minutes of the regular council meeting held on March the 7th. Moved by Councillor Noon, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hutchison. Any errors? Questions on those? Councillor Shea.
I think I just requested a change to the wrong minutes. I think I meant to bring up my point on this issue, but I'm sure the clerk has it all under control. So sorry for the confusion.
After you said that, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, we jumped ahead. We were getting a little quick there. But I believe you are correct on that. Jamie, you've got that part. Very good. All in favor of the amendment to this motion? Any opposed? That's carried. That's it for the minutes. Committee and board reports. Saugeen Mobility and Regional Transit minutes from February 3rd are there. Do I have a motion to receive these minutes? Moved by Councillor Shea, seconded by Councillor Noon. Any questions or comments on them? Councillor Hutchison, Doug?
Just having to do with the maybe the budget. Am I jumping ahead? Is the budget included in part of your minutes motion there? Just had a question about the budget.
Yes, yeah, it would be. It's part of those minutes.
So, I was just curious, I'm a little fuzzy on the budget. It looks like to me that it had like a $719,000 deficit. But then the gas tax fund balance, is around 787, looks like. So, which basically covers it. But maybe I'm missing something there. Like, there is a deficit, the gas tax comes in, that covers that. So basically running it just a little over, just a little in the red sort of thing, or in black. I'm just curious about, do they have reserves or are we running really tight on this budget? I'm not sure if Councillor Townsend, I think, is on that committee. Maybe can he respond to that?
Yes, Doug?
Yes, they've got it, the gas tax, from what I'm understanding, and I'm still getting my feet wet with that whole committee. The gas tax basically runs almost a year behind, and Hanover does all the administration work on the gas tax and all that stuff for Saugeen Mobility. So they've got it all calculated out, and I know that they, from what I've seen, they've got it figured out pretty much right down to the penny. And I know we're having a strategic strategy meeting on this coming Friday with the Saugeen Mobility to actually go over all the projections and get everything actually finalized, as far as, because they're looking at some expansion into other municipalities are knocking on the door and thinking about service and that sort of thing. And as I say, I'm still getting my feet wet in this, but it's a lot of it's to do with the, I mean, how much usage we have in the municipality, then our cost goes up as a municipality. So it's, as much as you want to promote it, a lot of communities or a lot of municipalities are looking at it as a budget line item and saying, how much do we actually want to spend on the mobility transit? So that is actually part of our strategic meeting on Friday, is to discuss those sort of items, because there's some municipalities that don't use it that much, yet are still, in their opinions, paying a lot of money, as opposed to, I think we're probably the third biggest user of Saugeen Mobility. So I'll be quite honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the formula they use to calculate out what the municipalities pay. And I think in talking to former councillors and people that have been around Saugeen Mobility too, there's a lot of people scratch their head on the formula and how it's calculated. So I'm hoping to get a lot of those answers on Friday when I'm at this planning session. It'll be our first one in person for this committee. So then hopefully I can bring back a better report to council for the next meeting.
Okay, Doug, further?
So that's good. It's sort of an unfair question, I guess, Doug, to get on that, given that you're just sort of getting your feet wet, as you said. So my couple questions would be, are we running a deficit? It doesn't look like we are, if you include the tax fund. And can we find out whether they have reserves? So those are a couple questions that maybe you can get a better handle on in the next meeting with the budget. Thanks.
Yep, will do.
Okay, thank you, Doug. And thanks for the question, Doug. Any other comments? Call the question. All those in favor of receiving the smart minutes? Any opposed? Or that carried? Okay. Correspondence. We have a number of correspondence in the package. I believe there's about 6 of them. Do we have anybody that would like to comment on those? Councillor Townsend. Doug?
There we go. Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Correspondence piece number 4, the correspondence from the Township of Southgate, re the municipal tile drainage loan amounts in support of a letter from Aaron Eldersley. I would like to see us pull that for discussion or whatever we need to do in order for us as a municipal council to support that, and again, send a letter off in support of upping that municipal tile drainage amount in support
Okay.
of what Aaron Eldersley's letter is.
Yeah. Procedurally, I'm gonna ask Jamie, we can pull those and then take a motion to receive the other 5, or pull that number 4 and have a motion to receive the other 5.
Through you, Mayor, what I might suggest is we do the motion on this item first and then do a motion to receive
Receive.
everything else in the package.
Okay. All right. Councillor Townsend is asked for correspondence number 4. Township of Southgate, the resolution to support the municipality of Aaron Eldersley on their comments towards the Minister of Agriculture to expand the tile drainage loan. To expand or extend that upwards to meet the demands and the understanding of what tile drainage costs are getting these days. That would be about what you're looking for, Doug?
That would be about what I'm looking for, yeah, to the support of the Aaron Eldersley motion to increase the tile drainage loans, yes.
See what Jamie has made up, and if this goes the proper way or goes within support, maybe you could deliver it to the at the politicians meeting on Saturday. You could deliver it in person to the minister. Slightly just Jamie. Mr.
Through you,
Clerk.
Mayor, I have that in consideration of correspondence received from the Township of Southgate respecting a resolution of support of the municipality of Aaron Eldersley request for a tile drainage loan program review. Council directs staff to forward a letter of support to the Premier of Ontario, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, MPP for Grey Bruce Owen Sound, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, the Association of Municipalities Ontario, the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, and all municipalities in Grey and Bruce counties.
Very good. That's what you were looking for, Councillor
That-
Townsend?
Yes,
Doug,
it is. Thank you, sir.
move that. Take it that motion would be moved by
Yep.
Councillor Townsend, yes?
Yep. Yes.
Seconder, Councillor Hutchison. Thank you, Doug. And any comments on the motion? Seeing none, then I'll ask, all those in favor? Any opposed? That would be carried, okay? The other 5 correspondents that are there are for information. And Councillor Hutchison, or do you want another one pulled? Doug?
No, I just had a question on the number 6, having to do with the cell tower. I had maybe a couple of questions.
I
one
got that. I got that as number 5, but go ahead.
Sorry, yes, it is number 5, right? Looking in the wrong place. So, will I go ahead and ask the question? I don't wish to pull it, I don't think. I just had a couple questions.
If there are questions for clarification, then go ahead. Yeah, there's really no direction taken from.
Question 1, I guess, I'm sort of curious of the cell phone reception in the Ayton area, because that sounds like this will help with that. Is that an issue? Is that why we're putting a tower in there? I don't know the background on that.
I would take a look to Councillor Noon or Councillor Deputy Mayor Hutchison there. Oh, that's right. They can't connect into us because they don't have any cell tower down there. I say from a personal issue, yeah, it's sketchy at best. Would you agree with that, Deputy Mayor and or Councillor Noon?
Well, if I may, I think, yeah, that there's spots that are certainly a heck of a lot better than others, and you know, I know the police struggle with it, so that is one thing if we can enhance just the police, because I know they got to give certain spots to get a call out, but I think majority of the town seems to be okay, but I wouldn't say it's 4 or 5 bars on the phone at all time.
but it's in the surrounding areas that it goes dead. Okay, further, Doug?
Yeah, and the other question, and maybe this is directed more to our Director of Finance, are the cell phones taxed? For some reason, I think that we do gain a tax from cell phone towers. I'm curious.
Gary?
Yes, there will be assessment related to the cell tower. Not a lot of assessment, but there is a bit of assessment related to that.
So is that the company that puts the tower up taxed, or is it the landowner? How does that work?
The landowner.
Landowner. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, with that clear, sorry, Joyce? Councillor Nunn.
Oh, thank you. To my understanding, there's been a media release, in Facebook or in today's Hanover Post, that does touch on the cell tower that is going up to assist with the helping enhance cell reception in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, with that little bit of clarification, would somebody like to move acceptance of the other 5 correspondence there? Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Forrester. Thanks, Tom. Scott? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay, that's it for correspondence. Staff reports. Down to number 11. Director of Legislative Services and our clerk, Jamie, has the first one there, dealing with councilor enumeration. Any
Through you, Mayor, this is strictly an information report. The Municipal Act requires municipalities to publish council remuneration for the preceding year. And this report basically touches on that. So in the absence of any questions, the recommendation is just that council receives the report for information purposes.
All right. And if somebody that would move that, Councillor Shea. Moved, seconder. Councillor Townsend, thank you. Any comments or questions? Councillor Shea, Jeff?
Thank you. So just for clarification, this will be published on the West Grey website. What part of the website would one go to find this? Is that a fair question?
Through Mayor to Councillor Shea, historically, in my experience, reports like this that I've done in the past, I've not published anywhere on the website other than on the council agenda. So I would have to give that some thought and then report back.
Okay, if it's merely through a council agenda, it's going to be hard for a member of the public to find. I would think that if this is a statutorily required public report, that maybe we should have a section of the website for statutory required public reports. But I'll leave that with you, Jamie, and maybe we could discuss this offline at another point. Thank you.
Certainly. Further to that too, I will say that this is something that we could include in our new council highlights that are posted to our website as well, that we could link to.
Good, and I'll just say I'm very, very pleased to see the new council highlights. Well done.
Okay. All right. Any further questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Community services, 11.2.1 is recreation and community garden update. And Councillor Shea, you've declared a conflict with this one. So thank you. Cody, I believe this one is yours. Mr. Hewitt.
Thank you, and through you, an information report in front of council just for community garden expansion. Council remember at our last meeting that we placed a hold on the request for the Lions for the dog park project just to complete this upcoming growing season. However, shortly after that meeting, we received correspondence from Tree Canada that we had an opportunity for funding come forward for community garden expansion. While we're still working through with Tree Canada what the expansion will actually look like and what the bounds of the grant actually are. We're excited to be working with garden users in Tree Canada in the coming weeks, just to start planning some plans for garden expansion. So not too much information to share at this point, but just that there'll be some sort of community garden expansion coming, and we'll be looking at the possibility of different sites, that sort of thing moving forward.
Excellent. And with the grant application that we've had in, there may be or could be into some of our other urban areas an expansion of this program with some of that funding. Cody?
This funding was just for Durham community garden expansion.
Okay. Let's see what we can do then about moving this good program out. All right. I don't think we need any direction on that, just a motion to receive your report and the update. So do I have someone that would move? Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor Forrester. Thank you, Scott. To receive the motion or to receive the report from Cody on that on the community garden expansion program. Doug, question?
Yes, if I can, Mr. Mayor. I'm just, Cody, maybe you can help me here. We're not, this is simply a report. We're not moving ahead. My concern would be that if we took some of this grant money and sunk it into doing a lot of permanent things in the area that the community gardens is currently in, and then in 6 months or 8 months, we say that, well, maybe that's not the best place for the community gardens and we're going to relocate it, put a dog park there, that whatever we've gone ahead and done or the Gardens Committee's done or Trees Canada's paid for is all for naught. That's my big concern, is that we're not doing a lot of permanent work in an area that we're still not 100% sure is the right spot. I personally think the community gardens would maybe be better with a number of different smaller sites throughout the community, making them more accessible to everybody throughout Durham. But you know, maybe we need them all in one big spot. I don't know if that's a discussion we have to have, but I'm just concerned about if we're, you know, putting in water lines or paving lanes or doing things like that, and then we turn around and make a dog park out of it. That's my big concern, that I don't want to see the community gardens people go to all that work and then be offended at us because we turn around and make it into a dog park.
Comment on that one, Cody?
Absolutely. And with that being said, what we do know with the bounds of the grant is that we would have to hold anything installed for a minimum of at least 2 years. So with that, we would be looking at sites. If it is the existing site, we work with the Lions to see if it can be cohesive, hand in hand with the dog park, or looking at the ability of different sites for the gardens to be moved. I'll say the current gardens to be moved to a new site to make room for the park after this growing season is completed.
Okay, very good. Any other questions on receiving this report? Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. We can ask Councillor Shea, going down to 11.2.2 is recreation. Elephant thoughts. Jeffrey, going back in. Thank you. And Mr. Hewlett, another one. You're quite busy tonight. Cody.
Thank you. And through you, again, another information report in front of council. Basically, there has been some changes to the funding available to Elephant Thoughts for this summer. So the camp program has changed slightly, but in a good news opportunity, it will now be free to residents and users of the program. However, with that being said, as it is a free program, West Grey does not need to be as actively involved as we have in past years. So Elephant Thoughts will be taking on the remainder of the program and running it, including registration. We will just be supporting in terms of cross promotion of the program, as well as we will be doing some cross training just in terms of staffing.
Very good, thank you. Do we have a mover and a seconder for the report? And then we'll get into questions if there is any. Somebody want to move? Moved by Councillor Noon, seconded by Councillor Hutchison. Doug, thank you. And questions? Councillor Hutchison, Doug?
Yeah, so a couple questions, and maybe Cody if sort of answered the one. So we won't be providing any staff then, according to this. Then they're doing their own staffing and whatnot.
That's correct.
Okay, and so what does registration look like? Like you sort of mentioned about registration. They'll do the registration. We won't be doing any registration.
Correct. We will not be involved with the registration.
Okay, and is the program going to be a 4-week program like it was before, or is it expanded?
I believe it will be at least 4 weeks. And from my understanding, they're looking at expanding it to as many weeks as possible.
Okay, all right. So look forward to the registration of that. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, any other questions on the elephant thoughts? Call the question. All those in favor? Sorry, did you have a question, Doug?
I did, just a quick one. We were going to do the West Grade people, we're going to get a kind of ahead of the queue when we were doing funding on it. Now that we're not doing any funding on it, it's just going to be first come, first serve.
That's correct. I would say majority of the promotion will be in the local area. So I would say West Grade residents are basically the local area. So they will probably be on the leading edge in terms of promotion, but it is open to everybody on first come, first serve basis.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
We already voted on it, so that was just a little clarification afterwards. It's passed. All right. Questions? But that's it for staff reports, I believe, Jamie. So we must be down to questions, procedural bylaw, clarifications or updates on any past agenda items. Anybody have any questions? Once, twice. Councillor Hutchison, Doug?
Yeah, it's maybe a point of clarification. I did ask a question to our clerk regarding the, let me think now.
Ice-time rentals in Newstead or in Aiden?
You know where I'm going. So apparently we did pass the bylaw for change of summer rates, so it expanded the summer rates. But my question was, can we do a non-prime time rate? So his comment was that I need a notice of motion, so I'll leave it for now and discuss with staff about that and maybe bring that forward at a later date.
I think the clerk would like to give you some direction on how to proceed with that.
Okay.
Lee?
Through you, Mayor, just a point of clarification to Councillor Hutchison's point. So notice was, direction was given at the last meeting for staff to issue notice of intention to make an amendment to the fees and charges bylaw. That bylaw has not come forward yet. It's being done in accordance with our new notice policy bylaw. So that bylaw will come forward at our next meeting.
Go ahead, Doug.
So does that mean we don't need a notice of motion then, clerk?
Through Mayor to Councillor Hutchinson, what you are suggesting is different than the intent of the amendment to the fees and charges bylaw that direction was given on. So yes, the notice of motion would still be required if you wanted to change the rate specifically.
Okay, right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Bylaws. We have two then. The first is the confirming bylaw of the actions of the meeting this evening. Bylaw number 2023-030. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that bylaw to be read for a second and third time? Moved by Councillor Forrester Scott, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Townsend. Doug? Any questions or comments on the confirming bylaw? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Second one seems to be very timely with our training today at the Water Center. Our operations, maintenance, and management agreement with Veolia, our professional company that looks after the operations of our water and wastewater in Durham and Newstead. Mover for the bylaw number 2023-031. Do I have a mover? Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchison, seconder. Councillor Noon, thank you. Joyce, Tom, questions or comments on the motion or on the bylaw? Councillor Shay, Jeff?
Thank you, Kevin. The bylaw makes a reference to Schedule A attached here too, but Schedule A isn't attached here too. Is that procedurally correct?
Through you, Mayor Eccles. Yes, in this case it is. Staff reached out to Veolia on this particular agreement as the agreement itself was marked as confidential. So staff reached out to obtain permission to publish this document on the public agenda. Veolia has asked that we not release that on our public agenda. However, that said, if anyone does want to come in to view the agreement specifically, they can do so by visiting the municipal office.
So I think the interpretation of that, Councillor Shay, is that the schedule will be attached physically to the bylaw and will be available for public viewing if somebody would come in to request that, and ourselves as well too.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, if you're saying a member of the public could ask to come in and see Schedule A?
Yes, that is correct. Like all of our bylaws, they're all public information, so anyone could come in and view that document.
And so what's the problem with attaching Schedule A to this document here?
Veolia has just asked that since it has been marked confidential that we not post it on our website so that it's available for everyone online. We just kind of restricted that access a little bit through having to come into the municipal office.
I see. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? I shall call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay. New business. Is there any new business? Councillor Hutchison. Doug?
Just an announcement that the BIA is having their annual general meeting April 5th at 6 p.m. At the Durham Town Hall. So just to inform you of that.
Okay. That's moved us from 14 to 15 quickly.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, I went ahead. We're doing so well. I keep moving ahead.
Keep going. Two other announcements I could make from the chair. The Elmwood and District Chamber of Commerce, their annual general meeting is open to council members. If you want to attend, it too is on April the 1st. So if you work up an appetite at the hospital rally in Chesley, you can come down and on April the 1st at the Elmwood Community Center, social at 5 to 5:30, dinner at 5:30, and then their annual general meeting after that for the chamber from Elmwood. The other one is I received a notice, Hike for Hospice, Sunday, May the 7th, and this is the Saugeen Hospice. So there is three points. I'll get it and send it out to you, but just announcing it over the airwaves here tonight. Hanover, Walkerton, and Mildmay. Hanover Pavilion, agricultural building in Walkerton and the Lions Pavilion in Mildmay. And that is starting on Sunday, May the 7th, to support the Saugeen Hospice and their continuous fundraising for the hospice over there starts at 1 o'clock on Sunday, May the 7th. So with that said, any other announcements? Councillor Shay.
Thank you, Mayor. So I did attend a meeting of the organizing committee of Arts Fest. They are trying to restart Arts Fest this summer. July 8th is the date that has been discussed. There's a follow-up meeting scheduled for tomorrow, I think, including West Grey staff. So we'll have more details to report soon hereafter.
Very good. Anyone else? There was I guess the only other announcement was very good day today at the Walkerton Clean Water Center for education. A number of the council members and staff were there to obligations under the Clean Water Act and participated in that today. Any other announcements? Then closed session. I don't believe we have any closed session this evening. Mr. Clerk, and no reason to go into closed session. Adjournment. Anybody want to adjourn? We'll do it just different today. Councillor Hutchison. Move to adjourn. Seconder for that. Deputy Mayor Hutchison. That'll really throw the clerk off. Jamie.
Through you, Mayor, no motion to adjourn is required. So.
They were just saying that they're going to adjourn. So with all the business on the agenda completed, I will move that we adjourn. Thank you very much, council and staff, and everybody for joining us this evening for our meeting. Have a good evening and enjoy the sunset.
Have a great night.
Go Leafs, go.